wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need a repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing. Any station who wishes to check into the net, please come now.
Good evening, Alpha India 6 Delta Golf, and Joel and Florin.
Neil, Carol 7 Hotel Quebec Romeo in Antelope.
All right, well, happy Thanksgiving to the cast, happy Thanksgiving to you all, and everyone, including the folks that are watching on YouTube. Good evening. So, Joel, I've got you checked in, AI6AG, and welcome back, Neil, KL7HQR. I've got you checked in. Do we have any other check-ins?
Yeah, this is Carol, Kilopop for Mike Delta Citrus Heights, and YouTube is streaming, and we have Alf there as well, N6 Papa Romeo Delta.
All right, well, thank you for the check-in, Carol. That was KP4MD, and good evening to you. And I didn't catch the call sign on the Romeo Delta, but I should have it. Anyway, welcome to all the folks out there watching YouTube, and I'll check my notes and see if I can pick up who we've got there. Anyway, I'll listen for it next time around. Any other check-ins? After Neil, I've got Joel, Neil, and Carol. All right, well, stand by while net control gets prepared to receive. And thank you, Carol, for setting up the YouTube streaming. And it looks like net control is ready to go. If let's see, Joel, AI6DG, if you're ready to transmit your photo, go right ahead. Phone check, good.
And this is another Niagara picture. So sorry for the common theme. This is a little bit different. It's very similar but different. So hopefully you enjoy it, and it definitely brings back memories for me. PD 120.
N6EMF has been able to copy this photo of the Niagara Falls as Joel reports. And what I can see here, I can see that there's a couple of, maybe 3 ferries that are parked in a little pocket of water there, and maybe another ferry off to the right, and then this looks like a now I can't remember the details on this photo, but it's another perspective of one of the other photos. So anyway, what I can see is that it has just a few pixel pops, and the overall image quality is pretty good. So nice work on your transmission, Joel. Thank you very much. And let's see. I'll turn it over to Neil, KL7HQR. Are you ready? Were you able to copy this photo?
Yeah, good evening, Wilson and Carol and Joel, everybody, and also the guys on YouTube. Nice to be back in town again. Yes, very good copy. As a matter of fact, you said you had a few pops in there. I don't see a single one on mine, and I have enlarged the picture to full screen. I must have missed a few of the pictures that were sent before, but before I left, I remember seeing pictures of the Niagara Falls ferries or boats, and this is like you said, it looks like a different perspective since it is from the land looking over to the ocean. Very, very good copy, no problem at all, and appreciate. I wonder how long ago the picture was taken, because the only thing I can see is the colors seem to have been faded a little bit. So it's definitely not well, I shouldn't say definitely, but it does not appear to be a recent photo. So I'll be glad to be interested in knowing where it was taken. Back to that.
All right. Well, I'm glad you reported you didn't see any pixel pops. It makes me curious how I got some and you didn't. And anyway, that's good information. I've been thinking about raising my my antenna up a little bit higher to get better coverage, and I'm wondering if that would make a difference, or if I'm just dealing with noise in my neighborhood or something along those lines, or noise in the path. Thank you for the comments, Neil. Do appreciate it. And again, welcome back. Glad to have you back. Carol, KP4MD, were you able to copy? All right, we'll take a pass on Carol for the moment. I'd give her one more pause and see if she's able to pick up the mic. Okay, let me fire up YouTube and see if I can stream and check on Carol on the side there. So I'll go on to AI6DG. Back to Joel. Would you like to take a moment and describe what you got?
Well, I sent I don't know how many weeks ago, but I sent a photo very similar to this, but as was stated, different perspective, because the one I sent before was shot from the American side, probably on Goat Island, looking across the Niagara Gorge or river at this, and this photo was taken from the Canadian side, looking down from the cliff face on the Canadian side. This photo was probably taken late afternoon, a week or two before the previous shot. And I say that because from the shadows, this looks like it was probably late afternoon. And I say the week before because we see all 4 boats here in the previous shot, or ship, boat, ship, which would it be? One of the ships was on the previous shot had already been dry docked and had been pulled up onto land in preparation for winter, because this whole area gets totally frozen up and covered in ice, and anything that's in the river would not end up in the river. It would get sunken or washed downstream after winter. So they pull everything out, all the piers, all the boats, everything gets pulled up onto land. So this is the Canadian side, and you can actually see the American. There's a pier on both sides, American and Canadian, and you can see the American pier up on the extreme upper left. And it looks like they've got two smaller boats. So you see both of those docked up, and then two bigger boats. One of them docked up with the other two on the left, and one on right up that's ready to load people. And just looking at things that are interesting. You can see the little tent in the lower center, slightly right. That's, I guess, where they have the people that they come down elevators and walk out into that tent, and that's where they get ready. They're given ponchos, rain ponchos, because you get totally drenched on the boat as the boat goes up as close to the falls as they can. And in fact, you might see a row of blue things right in front of the tent. That's for when they come back. They throw away the ponchos, and I guess those are recycle bins. You can see a whole bunch of foam. The white stuff on the water is foam, and I don't know if that's normal, expected, or if that's bad stuff, because I suspect that's the result of pollution in the water, and the water getting just totally churned as it comes over the falls, which are just up to the right upstream from this, less than a quarter mile, maybe an eighth of a mile. Definitely can hear and feel the falls from this shot. And the memories of this might have been the day that I actually walked down the road into this area, past the no entrance signs. I considered myself a local by then, and I knew that fishermen walked down and would go down to the river. And I had a beautiful day, just sitting in the sun, taking pictures as things happened, and taking in the sight. It's quite amazing looking at it at or near water level rather than 100, 200 feet above it. But definitely some memorable weekends when I was there. Generally had one day a week because 5 days of work, 1 day of recovery, and then 1 day to play tourist. Back to Net AI6DG.
All right, Joel. Well, thanks for sharing some good memories there. I think you never. Now I'm curious about the. By the way, before I continue, I did kind of check on that the slow scan net streaming. It looks like Carol has the service up for sure. KP4MD is active out there, and I could see that Alf Gonzo and Craig Bruce are out there. So I want to give a shout out to those two gentlemen that are watching the show. So thanks for joining in. And so Joel, you have very fond memories of Niagara Falls. Do you intend to go back there anytime in the near future, or?
It wouldn't be impossible. I've considered it. The American side, well, both sides of the American and Canadian sides have changed significantly. I mean, a huge amount since then. The American side, what used to be the convention center, I believe now is a Indian casino. There's been a hotel built up there. The Winter Garden, which I might send a picture of sometime because I do have it loaded up into SSTV, apparently is gone, and I don't know if the mall is there or not anymore. The building I worked in is not what it used to be, and has gone through drama. Politics on the American side is well, it's New York. What can you say? And the Canadian side has had all kinds of construction and casinos and towers and touristy things. But I don't know if this is or was ever true, but the joke is that there is a state park on the American side, but the joke is that the budget on the Canadian side for their flowers and flower beds is more than the budget for the entire park on the American side. So the American side is, when I was there, had some very run down and scary parts that are just a few blocks away from the really nice part of the park. And it was a very industrial area. As a result of the history, very industrial area, because there's a lot of history there in early technology in terms of power generation and industrial uses of electricity, which was readily available and cheap there as a result of the water and of the falls. I might go there. It's on my list. Whether I actually will or not, I don't know. It'd be very interesting just to see how it's changed, how much is the same, how much has changed. How much is the same, how much has changed. Back to Net A6TG.
N6KN.
Hey there, Ken, and well, thanks for sharing, Joel. Ken, did you want to check in?
QSL. Yeah, I'm mobile here, but I've got. I loaded up while I just jumped in the car, and I heard Joel in there giving his description. I loaded up a little SSTV decoder on my phone, so I thought I don't have anything. I'm not gonna be able to share anything, but I will definitely receive and see how I do here in the mobile.
All right, well, thanks for checking in, Ken. Good to hear your voice, and express happy Thanksgiving Eve to you. How's that? So thanks for checking in, and do we have any other points or questions for Joel on his Niagara Falls perspective?
KL7HQR. Joe, when were these pictures taken? Obviously not recently. And also, as far as the ship versus boats, the difference is that ships carry boats. If you carry a lifeboat on board, you are a ship. That's why Navy submarines are called boats, because they don't have lifesavers. So these, I assume, they would be boats. I may be wrong. Go back to you.
Sorry, I remember if they had a lifeboat on them or not. Despite being as small as they are and being on the river, they did have very stringent safety requirements due to the number of members of the public that they carry. And how long ago? Geez, I'm trying to remember. Wouldn't surprise me if it was 20 years ago.
Very good. Yeah, I have some pictures that older than that myself. Thank you very much. Back to Net KL7HQ.
It looks aged, but it's not. The color balance is off because this is film that I actually had to scan, and I think I just got the color balance off.
All right, well, thanks for the discussion on that photo, and I just want to check on Carol, KP4MD. Are you still doing okay out there, Carol? It's Wilson, N6EMF here.
Yeah, N6EMF. This is KP4MD. I'm sorry I didn't come back last time. I was I couldn't find a button to engage the audio repeater from my microphone. I was in another window, but yeah, good copy here, and thank you for all the feedback on that picture. It's KP4MD.
All right, very good, Carol, and yes, I can see that the YouTube is streaming just fine from my desktop here. So I'll go right on ahead to, by the way, for Ken, we have Joel AI6DG and KL7HQR, Neil and Carol KP4MD, myself N6EMF checked in here. So how about Neil? Did you want to go ahead with a photo? Neil, go right ahead.
Yeah, Roger. We'll try this one on PD120.
right, Neil, it's Wilson, N6NA Net Control here, and I was able to copy a beautiful, maybe seascape photo, and it looks like the sun is possibly setting, or trying to set on the horizon, maybe, and behind a section of clouds kind of sticking up above a larger base mass of clouds, and that's kind of what I'm interpreting. Quite a few pixel pops across the screen, but that sun is shining bright yellow through the clouds on the backside, and I can't tell whether that's maybe a sunset or a sunrise based on the perspective, but sure can't wait to hear from you on what this photo is, and maybe turn it over to Joel, AI6DG.
Very pretty shot. Interesting contrast between the storm cloud underneath the bank of clouds and well, I guess it's the thunderhead sticking up into the sun. Setting sun or rising sun, I don't know which, but so we've got an ocean scene, kind of a stormy thundercloud bank, but it's clear blue sky pretty much above these rough, stormy-looking clouds, and a thunderhead that's sticking up into the sunlight with bright orange, and the reflection of that bright orange across the water between us and the storm in the far distance. I'm curious whether this was like from a ship in the middle of the ocean or from land looking out, but does kind of make you think of beautiful post-storm or pre-storm solitude, quiet before the storm. Is this rolling towards us or away from us? Back to Net AI6DG.
All right, very good, Joel. I appreciate the narrative from your perspective. Very good choice of terms to describe the photo. Really cool. Anyhow, Carol, would you like to comment on the photo? And meanwhile, I might need to reboot my computer as I'm stuck. I was able to receive Joel's, or rather Neil's photo, and then got stuck. So let me try to reboot, and then I'll turn it over to Carol.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. Good picture here. I'm guessing that this was either near sunrise or sunset, or shortly before or after the before sunset or after sunrise, where the sun was shining kind of almost in a horizontal direction, and it was lighting the top of that cloud there, although the bottom part of the cloud was probably in the shadow of some other clouds. Interesting shot there, and I imagine that Neil took this while he was on one of his cruises here recently. And nice quiet sea. I guess I do have a few pixel pops there, and it looks like there is a kind of a reflection. Maybe you took this picture through glass, and one of our it was Alf who says he asked if it was taken behind glass. He sees a slight ghosting, as if there was a slight reflection coming on the surface of the glass. Also, Frank, Whiskey 6, November Yankee X-Ray, has joined us on YouTube and says good evening to all. So back to net control.
All right, well, good evening to all oncomers, and happy Thanksgiving to you. And thank you for joining aboard, and thanks for the comments, Carol. I'm still booting up my computer, which may not be wanting to cooperate from here, so I'm going to turn it over to Neil. Would you be so kind to tell us all about your photo? Sure would appreciate it. Thank you.
Roger, scale 7 HQR. Thank you, Wilson. I just wonder if Ken on the mobile, if he was able to copy the picture.
Negative. actually didn't realize that my phone had connected to my car audio, so I've got it disconnected now, so I should be able to get the next one.
Okay, this is Scale 7 HQ, welcome me back. I saw that on YouTube somebody mentioned some ghosting and the reflection. Yes, indeed, this was taken through the ship balcony door. It was not taken by me. It was taken by my wife. We just came from a trip from London to Florida, and this was taken late afternoon. And we were on the starboard side of the ship, in the aft starboard part of the ship, and we're coming down heading southwest. So this is going looking northeast. So it's a sunset, and just before we arrived, I think a day and a half before we arrived in the Azores Island. And the interesting thing is that the captain every day kept on saying how fantastic weather we had, because we had what he called a good weather avenue. The ship was sailing right down the middle, and both sides, starboard and forward, you had all these fantastic storms happening. And this just, it was I couldn't have caught this picture. I have to give credit to the wife to have the eye and be able to get it. And he was so quick that she took 2 shots, opened the door, went out to take another one without the glass, and the light had already changed. So I'm glad that we can share this. And it was a great trip, fantastic weather, and like Joel does, some of those pictures are some of the best memories you have. So back to that.
This is an awesome photo, and finally got my computer booted back up, but I'm not sure what state it's going to be in for my next step in net control here. But it seems to me like this is there's your wife takes pretty good photos. She had one a few weeks ago that you put on display. I think she was photographing from inside the airport terminal and looking outside. So that was another one, if you remember, Neil.
Yeah, I do. I have it here, and one of these days I'll just, if we start having in-person club meetings, I'll bring the real pictures, because SSTV, as good as it is, doesn't do it justice. Back to that.
All right. Well, that's just awesome. I'm glad to hear that you were made safe travels through the. I guess it was called a good weather avenue. That's amazing.
I don't think that is a correct naval or nautical terminology, but that's what the captain said every day. We were 3 or 4 days, every day at noon. He would come in. We're still in the middle of the avenue.
I'm wondering if you paid extra for that, or was that 3D special effects with artificial intelligence, some trickery there, some imagery trickery. I'm joking, but it just seems like, what is the likelihood that you'd have a good weather avenue and you'd be looking at storms to the left or the port side and starboard all the time, the whole time. So that's just amazing. Glad you enjoyed your trip. That's great. So let's see. I'm not sure if I'm ready to transmit a photo yet, but what I could do is check in with Carol to see if she's ready to go. Would you like to transmit one, Carol? KP4MD, N6NA FM here.
Yeah, this is KP4MD, and this will be PD120 for everyone. It's KP4MD.
All right. Thanks for sending over the photo. Carol, KP4MD has sent a photo. It says Think Ham, and it's a turkey holding a picket sign maybe, or some type of sign that says Think Ham, probably saying don't eat turkey, eat ham, and has an inset photo from Neil in the lower left-hand corner, which is a really nice addition there. So I was able to receive the photo just fine. I get the idea, and there were quite a few pixel pops scattered across the screen, but still a very fun photo. Thank you for that, Carol. Let me turn it over to Joel. What were you able to copy?
Excellent reception, although I do have quite a few pops that are quite noticeable with the white background. And I imagine I've seen this before, but it reminds me of the ad campaign. I think it was Chick-fil-A that did, where they had a whole bunch of cows that they put on billboards that were trying to urge you to eat chicken. In some cases, they had these huge 3D, statues of cows or inflatables on the billboards. They were 3D billboards, not flat. But anyway, the idea of cows trying to get you to eat chicken by going to Chick-fil-A was pretty popular and funny for a while there in its time. But gobble gobble. Looking forward to the dressing tomorrow. Back to net, AI6TG.
All right, well, very good. Okay, well, Ken, were you able to copy N6KN?
Yeah, I got about 30% of it full app on running. I don't know why. When I first started out with that, that's all I used the whole life of it. With the audio. It did a fine job because, yeah, the mobile is a little challenging. I did get
Well, all right, Ken, I could pretty much gather that maybe you weren't able to copy the photo due to possibly a setup problem, but I can say that you have picked up and held the repeater. However, I can barely hear much of what you said, but I think what I'm hearing is that you're not copying the photo. Is that correct? Well, Ken, hang in there. We'll stand by and listen for an update. But my apologies, I'm unable to copy what you said. So I don't think you're able to make the repeater just well. And try again in just a few minutes. How's that? Okay, N6EMF here. We'll go on down the line to KL7HQR. Were you able to copy?
KL7HQR. Yeah, copy very well. No problem at all. And Joel took the words right out of my mouth. Immediately the Chick-fil-A ad campaign came to mind, and a very, very good picture. The white background with some other spots, but no problem at all. And so how do we take this? Think ham. Are we going to have to worry about our counterparts during Christmas? Well, when do we eat ham? I think ham is more Christmas time. But anyway, good picture, and nice to have a little bit of humor there. Thanks, Carol. And back to Nat.
Yeah, I too appreciate the humor, and I get both turkey and ham, both Christmas and Thanksgiving. So I don't, I'm inclusive when it comes to ham and turkey on either day. How's that? Carol, would you like to make any additional comments or on your photo? Just lots of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I think I've probably sent this picture previously, one other year or year before, around Thanksgiving time. And I don't know, you could take this either way. You could say this turkey would want you to be talking on your ham radio instead of eating turkey on Thanksgiving. That's another way to look at it. curious thing about Christmas, I know some people like turkey on Christmas, and in England, particularly, they that's what they do. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving because it's not a British holiday, but for Christmas, their preferred dinner is and has been turkey. I don't know how long it's been, but turkey, of course, is a bird from the New World. So it's something that we exported to them to the point that they now have a preference for turkey. And they're going to have a particular problem getting turkey this Christmas because of issues with the supply chain that has been really being aggravated by Brexit. They don't have enough truck drivers because a large number of their truck drivers used to come over from Europe, and they're not letting those European truck drivers come over now because of their very strict restrictions now on movement across borders. So that's one thing, and the other thing is that on the turkey farms over in Britain, the seasonal workers that they used to have butchering the turkeys and preparing them for packaging also were migrant workers that came from Europe. So they're having some major problems having a supply of turkeys for all the people that want them for Christmas. So just interesting comment on the side. And I did want to say, let me drop the repeater a moment. Yeah, I did want to say that Alf says, I really enjoy watching my phone draw out the SSTV signal. So he's having a lot of fun seeing that little magic work inside your little cell phone. And I did post a link in the chat to the YouTube page of the Central Coast Amateur Radio Club in Australia. I was snooping around YouTube and I found out that this amateur radio club in Australia is also streaming their slow scan TV repeater net on YouTube. And apparently they started doing it in January, which was just a few months after we started doing ours. I don't know if it was a complete coincidence, but if you're interested, you can go to that link, and they have archived their nets. They do their nets not every week, but every other week. They call it every fortnight. So interesting to see what they're doing there as well. So I'm glad SSTV activity on YouTube has been picking up. So back to you, Wilson. This is KP4MT.
Carol, thank you for quite a bit of interesting history and perspective on things. And it seems like our favorite bird is getting a lot of press out there. And I am very curious about what Australia is doing with SSTV. So hopefully I'll get a chance to check out your link later this evening. And again, thanks, Alf, for your comments out there. And let's see, were there any other comments on this photo? And I have to admit that I had excuse me, I had a complete brain poop on the Think Ham. I didn't even think about amateur radio. I was just thinking about the turkey not wanting to be eaten and trying to direct people to eat ham. So it took me a few minutes of discussion to realize that this could be looked at either way. So thank you for that, Carol. Okay, so I'm going to send a photo, and it's one that I have to send because I can't send the one I really want to send. I prepared this one a few weeks ago, and let's see what kind of discussion we can get on this one. So please stand by for Martin 1. really sorry. I think that that was a kind of a side effect of my computer problem. So my apologies, folks, and I think I'm dead in the water for transmitting tonight. I'm sitting here thinking it's going out, but it's not. So give me just 1 second to troubleshoot. I'll give this 30 seconds. If it doesn't work, I'll try something. I'll try again next time. Well, my apologies, folks. I think Net Control is not going to be able to get a photo out tonight in an efficient manner. So rather than tie up the show, I'm going to just maybe take a few minutes and kind of direct the crew for some general discussion. Do we have any points of discussion or announcements we would like to make in lieu of Net Control's photograph? How's that?
Yeah, that's okay.
Try demoing, maybe try something other than slow scan one week.
You considering, Joel, having something here on the 440, the 441.3?
Well, I know that, for instance, there's some digital image transmission programs that are lossless, so you would get far higher quality transmissions. But we could try. Well, I don't know. Whose favorite mode is there that we haven't tried? I'm just bringing up the possibility of us trying some get-togethers for something other than slow scan sometime.
All right, well, let's kick that around. Any comments, Neil, KL7HQR? Any thoughts along those lines?
Well, not really, but I think I don't know if there would be any interest in doing not on the repeater, not on this repeater. I think this should be a SSTV environment, but some other on HF maybe, some go back to CW and try to do some FT8 or PSK. Those are things that would be open, but I don't know how much interest there would be.
Appreciate that, Neil. I think we talked a few weeks ago about doing this, and I have to admit, me personally, I am just overwhelmed a lot on weekends with my kids' extracurricular activities. So I'm really hanging on to try to enjoy this as much as I can, and can't allocate as much time as I did when the kids were out of school. So, but I think we have to kind of we want to try to maintain the slow scan TV time slot at 9 on the 440 repeater. So we'll probably keep that tradition. But I do think we could experiment with some different formats for carrying out the slow scan TV net. I mean, we have a script. The script, it works well. But what else could we be doing to make that a different kind of experiment or experience, or experiment with different approaches to discussing the photos, or different objectives we could try, or set forth different objectives, I suppose. But I am in the spirit of trying different digital modes. Just me personally haven't had much time to devote to it on weekends or at other times. Any other thoughts? How about Ken? N6KN, are you still out there? Okay, how about Carol? Any thoughts along those lines? KP4MD?
Yeah, I'll just go along with whatever anybody else wants to do. I don't have any other specific idea. I mean, there's so many other different modes. I know we've dabbled with the black and white modes that you've done, sending a picture across in 8 seconds. I have no problem with trying something else. Over.
All right. Thank you for that, Carol. Joel, what else you got? Any other thoughts along these lines?
Nothing specific. I just always willing to try something new. I've been doing slow scan pretty much every week for such a long time. I wouldn't mind trying something out. And I know there's lots of other things out there. I mean, there's a JT call, which is kind of a chat mode version of FT8, so you can rag and chew back and forth. I know that there's some digital transfer modes that are lossless, so you wouldn't have all the pops, and you can do higher resolution. Just wanted to throw out the possibility, the idea, and I'll just follow along with whatever you guys do. Just back to Net ASXTG.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Joel. I like it. I always, maybe we could figure something out here. But Carol talked about how the previous gentleman that used to like to run the net controls, he used to let music through the image. So I guess he would encode different musical notes in a color, and when the scan would sweep across a specific color, it would make a note, and then you had Beethoven or whatever. And I thought that was pretty intriguing, but that's still kind of going back to taking us right back to slow scan TV, and maybe so maybe there's some fun twists we could put on slow scan TV and come up with some ways to do music or some musical notes or some other types of text graphics, efficient use of the mode. I had been experimenting with text and stuff like that. So to me, there's still some things to explore in slow scan. But I mean, if we want to try something different on slow scan night, maybe that's a discussion topic for the club. Anyway, Joel, maybe it's time again to get some emails circulated to talk about some offline work with one of those modes you talked about, like JT call, or I know we've done some stuff with FT8. I'm not familiar with the digital transfer modes that are lossless, but that would be interesting.
That sounds good, and I'd welcome whatever we come up with, and I'll give it some thought. Maybe I'll come think of something.
There was a slow scan over HF group that tried to get together a few weeks ago, and I had some spare time that day, and I wasn't able to pick up a single any traffic at all. I'm not sure why, but it could be it was just bad luck, bad timing. But I wasn't able to pick up any slow scan traffic that day or that weekend that was designated for HF slow scan TV. Was anybody else out there able to participate in any slow scan traffic?
K07H2R. I have not. Of course, I was gone, so I did not hear about that particular instance. But I have been able to download a lot of slow scan TV on training meters. There is a lot of activity. Obviously, the quality that you get is nowhere near the quality that we're getting on our UHF here, but very good pictures coming from many different countries. So that part I've done.
All right. Well, thanks for the update, Neil. I have yet to do slow scan on HF, but that's probably on my bucket list, and I really enjoy slow scan TV. It's a little less structured. There's not as much, not as many people that pile in, and it's a way to really share what's going on. Sometimes it's technical, so it can go wherever you want it to go. But yeah, you get to a point where you want to try something else sometime. So I appreciate you bringing that to the discussion, Joel. So is there anything else? I've got to go figure out why my signal link pretty much fell off the map with my PC tonight, and why the PC locked up. So there's my task before next time. Well, I want to thank everybody who has participated in tonight's TV Net, SSTV Net, including Carol having set up the YouTube live streaming and our YouTube audience we have out there. So thanks going out to Ken for dropping in and monitoring the show. And want to thanks going out to Joel and Neil and Carol. Welcome back, Joel. And we'll hope to see you again next Wednesday night at 9 o'clock p.m. How about we say the net is officially closed at 9:56 p.m. This is Wilson, November 6th, Echo Mike Foxtrot, wishing all of you a good evening. 7-3.